Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Rusty from Poker's Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. We say the things on here that nobody dare say, as you know. Today I'm joined by the hardcore's hardcore, Kent Swan from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Is that correct?
That's correct, Russell. Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good morning, Russell. How you doing?
I'm all right. I was just talking to a bloke here now, right? He's just coming here, say, you boxing, lad? I went, yeah. And I was talking to him because they're doing fire extinguisher checks and alarms and all that. They're going to be here an hour. And we got talking about you. And he said, you know that Kent, when he goes on a date? I went, yeah. He says, he always says to him, I'll see you again down the line.
That's that Yorkshire sense of humour, Russell.
These are Chesterfield, aren't they? That's Derby. Still north, isn't
it? Yeah.
How are you?
Dead on, Russell. Yeah, things are okay. Just good to see some sort of boxing back in the UK. So it is. It's good to see some sort of boxing back at the weekend. Yeah, okay. What about you? How's the training going on?
All right, day 2 today. I'm going to train after I've done this interview with you. Slight weights, not doing anything heavy because I don't want to. The last thing I want is the scar ripping on my stomach and that. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to train in a minute. Yeah. Only 40 minutes. Some light weights, some sit-ups and that. I'm just still take my dog out in the morning, which is hard grafting this weather, isn't it? An hour.
It's freezing.
Oh, freezing. I'm like that. My nuts are frozen. But I put a trackie on, and I put a sweatsuit on top of the trackie just to keep warm. But yeah, things are going all right. I'm in a good place. A lot's gone on with boxing. There's a bit of chat this morning. Derek Chisora against Luis Ortiz. What do you think of that? If it comes off?
If it comes off. If it comes off, to be honest, you know what, we've spent 2 years talking about fights that haven't happened. We've spent 2 years talking about promoters that can't win purse bids. So it's one of them fights that none of the heavyweights are actually going anywhere, but it's kind of an attractive fight. They're two named fighters, but they're not contenders. Yeah. You know, that's another thing in boxing that seems to be happening quite a lot now. You know, you're either a contender or you're a named fighter. Yeah. You know, there's no in the middle. So they're named fighters. It would be an entertaining fight, but I don't really want to see Derek Chisora in a ring again after the Joseph Parker fight. You know, Joseph Parker in that fight against Derek Chisora looked like Ernie Shivers, and so no, I don't really want to see Derek war Chisora again. And as far as Luis Ortiz is concerned, you know, he's about 50 years old. I actually think Luis Ortiz is the same age as John Fury.
Yeah. When you were in Olympics back in the day, there were rumours doing the rounds that he was 38 then, wasn't there?
Yeah. He just looks like an old man. So he does. He's got one old.
On BoxRec, he's only 41, isn't he?
10, 12 years too.
He's 10 years younger than me. He looks old enough to be my granddad.
Yeah. Well, you'd be too late for him now, Russell. You're more what, a light heavyweight now, super middleweight.
154 kid.
Unbelievable.
Super welter.
Russell, can I say something? Bobby, I'm eating steak.
Greg Marriott. Greg Marriott, nutritionist. Putting Russell, on steak.
I think you've been doing secret sessions with Greg Marriott. So I do.
You won't get Greg Marriott wouldn't get through my fucking door, and I don't even know him. All right.
Yeah. The Chisora, you know, the Chisora Ortiz fight. Yeah, it's okay fight. The fans they will enjoy it, but I don't really see where both fighters are going to go after that fight, win or lose. I don't want to see Derek Chisora fight again. Not after that last performance. And Luis Ortiz, he's an exciting fighter, but he's a drug cheat, so I don't want to see him either.
Okay. Did you see Eddie Hearn's interview on IFL digging Umar out?
Yep.
Do you think
Yep.
Eddie's under the collar a little bit at the moment, under the cosh?
It's just like this, Russell. You know, Umar does his job. Whether he does it well or not, he still does his job.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Eddie should stop thinking about what type of content's going on and actually do his job, because he didn't win the purse bid to that fight. He's losing fighters. Nobody knows, you know, what's coming up on the zone, because it's not, you know, it's not on, it doesn't have that viewership. So I think, Russell, to be quite honest with you, and what do you, I'm going to put it back to you here. Do you think Eddie should just do his job and never mind other people's?
Yeah, well, this is how I look at it, right? This is how I look at it. Eddie's job is to promote fights, right? But he's more interested in promoting himself. Now, Al Heyman, Bob Arum, you don't see them doing interviews like Eddie, do you? Constantly. He's like training the human mind, a bit like Danny Dyer does. He's from down there, isn't he? He put that many films out that were shit. Everybody said, "Oh, it's Danny Dyer there. He's a film star." A bit like Michael Caine. bit like Michael Caine at 60. Put that much shit out. Eventually, people accepted them as actors, and we seem to have accepted Eddie. He's found a niche in the market with social media and blah 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 to promote, but it's got tired now, hasn't it? It's a bit tired now, isn't it? It's a bit worn out. And I think that generation now have moved on, and he ain't got this new generation kind of thing, has he? Because look at his stable. It's what has he done with anybody at that stable really who's not Team GB? He hasn't signed anybody, has he? He's not signing kids like Warren is, and he's not bringing kids through, is he? He's pinching them, isn't he? But he can't pinch them no more now because he's not on a good platform, is he? So the landscape's changed.
Yeah, it has. And those videos before with Coogan, you know, they were getting massive views. They were getting 250,000, 300, 400, 500,000
not now,
views.
are they? Not now.
They're not now. And maybe there's a lot more content out now, but even still the viewership is way down. And he looks knackered. Like I seen him yesterday. He looked absolutely knackered. Everyone is sick to death of that cheeky Eddie Hearn, apples and pears. That's completely gone. People want fights. People want him to put on fights, and he's not. You know, he hasn't made. You look at the fights that even PBC. You look at the fights that Showtime. You look at the fights that Top Rank have been putting on. You know, they're better fights than Eddie. You know, all them promoters have been involved in undisputed fights. Eddie hasn't. Eddie hasn't. So is it all lemons to blame, or is it Eddie? But the viewership is completely down. You know, for example, look at this weekend. You know, for 2 months we heard about Liam Williams and Eubank fight. We had it on Sky Sports News. We had it on Sky Sports. We had it all around those platforms. And we knew it was happening. This weekend, John Ryder is fighting. He is fighting the Golden Child for, you know, a 12-round fight. Nobody knows about what's on the undercard when it's happening, and that's not good. And that's not good for boxing. But Eddie chose that, and he's got what he's wanted. So he has.
Yeah.
You know, there was a while there, like everything that was happening, like Eddie was making everything about himself in social media. I think people have even caught on to that now, which was people were getting sick of, and the whole thing was signing boxers. You look at the Fraser Clark thing. He couldn't sign Fraser Clark. Fraser Clark went to Sky. That speaks volumes. That speaks absolute volumes.
Yeah, it's and Eddie would have been in Fraser Clark's hero and up his arsehole for the last 10 years, wasn't he, up at EIS?
Yeah, they would have had a relationship, the whole relationship with McCracken and Eddie, and he would have been telling him, and he was sparring Joshua for years, and he was always either number 2 or number 3. I think when Joshua came along, he was number 1. Then Joe Joyce came along and he took that, and now he obviously got the Olympics and got the bronze. But you would have thought that he was, if Eddie was with Sky, he would have signed with Eddie. Do you reckon?
Yeah, well, I know, because I know Eddie used to go up there. Every time he'd go up there, he'd high-five him and say, "How's it going, Fraser? Me and you are going to be all right. Me and you are going to be all right when you turn pro." Working on him from when the kid's an amateur. You know what I mean? And that's what goes on in it, and that's why he's had the pick of it up there, because he's up there all the time. And McCracken will be telling him who's good and who ain't good. But you're not going to get Frank Warren going up there, Mick Hennessy. So how can that be right?
No, it's not. It's not. It's a complete conflict of interest, to be honest. And all this stay humble, bruv, and all these Under Armour tracksuit brigades running about Sheffield. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that any pro can't go up there, or a journeyman can't go up there and train, or get sports science, or get the best of everything. It is a complete conflict of interest, and I don't like it. So it's not fair.
Yeah.
But as I say, stay humble, bruv.
It's a fight. It's a fight. Stay humble. I'm just a humble guy. I'm just humble.
I'm a throwback.
I'm about that life. Right. What did you think to Chris Eubank Jr., the Thespian's son, and Liam Williams? Intense beef. What did you think to the actual fight? What did you think to Matthew Macklin's scorecard as well? And what do you think to the whole carry on of it all?
Firstly, Russell, I would just like to correct you there. Sorry. Does he not call himself English now?
Yeah, I did say Chris Eubank Jr. But yeah, English.
Oh.
His dad's called English, isn't he?
The sheriff, he calls himself the sheriff as well. So he does.
I'll tell you a little story about Chris Eubank Senior, or English. He went into an hotel in Sheffield. This is a true story. And he got his finger and he ran it all the way around the lobby, like that. And we're going like that. And nobody knew what we were doing. They had a sheriff badge on, this like mustardy outfit with buttons going across it, like a jacket type, duffel type buttons. He had this big square Louis Vuitton, like a glut bag thing. Is it Louboutin or whatever it were? He had that and his phone, and he put them down, and he were going like that, and he kept going like that in hotel lobby. And he's a strange fella, him, very, very strange, oddball character, isn't it? I don't know if he does it for attention or what, I don't know. And I was trying to tell Terry the other day, and Terry's like, well, he's at the right. To what? To carry off like a tosser. The guy's a tosser, isn't he? I mean, when you think, I don't know what I think in Scotland they call it a zoomer, don't they, or a whopper. He is the original whopper. He's out to lunch, mate, isn't he? He's not wrapped up right. His cheese has slipped off his cracker, hasn't it?
I've no words for it. He just loves attention. He just loves media attention. I remember him on Celebrity The Jungle. He was on The Jungle, and he was
Yeah,
actually terrified.
he left them all to starve, didn't he? His team, didn't he?
He was terrified of Lady C, and he wouldn't go in the bat for his mate. The singer, who's the singer on that group? The 80s group. Tony Hadley. Tony Hadley was getting terrorized by Lady C, and him and Tony Hadley were mates. Yep, and he wouldn't go in the bat for his mate. He wouldn't back up his mate. I was disappointed by that. He was terrified of Lady C, to be honest. But yeah, he is. He's wired very different. That's to be said about him. But the whole I'm been baffled by Eubank Jr. Since he come back. I thought I wasn't impressed by his fight against Marcus Morrison. I wasn't impressed by his last fight, whoever that he fought, and I wasn't impressed in this fight. He's just a pound shop Roy Jones Jr. I call him pound shop Roy Jones. To be honest, Russell, you go back and you look at him when he was on Channel 5, and you look at him when he was fighting on Frank Warren shows. He had a great win against Chudinov. He lost to George Groves. Do you actually think he's improved since the George Groves fight?
Got worse.
I think he's got worse. I don't see any improvements at all in him. He looks a bit more relaxed. I mean, he hasn't improved at all.
This is how I look at it, Kent, right? Eubank Jr. 6 years ago could have fought Golovkin, right? And he didn't fight him, did he? Golovkin's 40 now, isn't he? Right? Are they going to fight now? He still get put into orbit.
To be honest with you, what fight in the middleweight division draws at the minute? Nothing.
No. Charlo against Eubank, I'd like to see, but Eubank can get picked apart. Felix Cash beats him now. Felix Cash beats Eubank now.
Absolutely, Russell. I agree with you. I think he smashes him up, to be quite honest. I think Felix Cash. I like Felix Cash.
Beefy Smith beats him.
I don't know about that.
I disagree. I think Beefy Smith and him is a good fight. Well, that's your opinion.
That's my opinion. But to be quite honest with you, it was a bizarre performance, Russell. It was just, it's not a fight. You know, Sky are looking to build back from Matchroom, and they're using Eubank Jr. as their flagship fighter. And that performance on Saturday night is not the performance of a flagship fighter.
Who's the main man now at Sky then?
Ben Shalom?
No, I'm on about fighter.
Fighter? Russell, you know, it's the
main man. It's all up in air, isn't it?
I can't say anyone. I can't say anyone, to be honest. I can't say anyone. You know, it's Eubank. Eubank's their flagship fighter, right?
Well, they're in trouble then, aren't they? If he's the main man.
They're in big trouble. They're in big trouble. You know, that card on Saturday night was absolute crap. So it was.
What do you think to Ben Shalom, aka the Ted Bundy at Sky Boxing? What do you think to him?
What's he done? What's he done?
He's got a rich daddy.
I thought the last lot of shows that they've done have been poor. I haven't enjoyed them. Maybe they've just the matching. Maybe they've just got it wrong. Maybe it's just these things happen in boxing. But
yeah.
I don't know who's doing the matchmaking for them. It's just the night wasn't entertaining at all. It was I couldn't wait till it went off. It was that boring. The Eubank performance was bizarre. You know, we had Liam Williams down 4 times, and then he decides to carry him, and I believe that. I don't agree with Johnny Nelson. It was just a performance like he just fell asleep, and that he just seemed to switch off. And to be honest with you, the whole Macklin card scoring thing, I'm going to give Macklin a pass here, to be quite honest, because Liam Williams was going forward and wasn't really landing anything. Eubanks was going backwards and wasn't really landing anything. So what do you score there, Russell? You know, I'm not going to dig him out on this, but what do you do there? It was such a bizarre performance. I'm baffled by it. I'm absolutely baffled by it.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Would you pay per-view after that? Say they get Triple G. Would you pay to watch Eubank Jr. against Triple G after that fight?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I would, just to see Eubank get flogged.
It was bizarre. I don't see that Eubank beats really any of them fighters on that performance. That pound shot Roy Jones, you know, pawing the hands. It was strange performance. Strange. What did you think of the card, Russell? How did you think? What else did you watch on the card?
Oh, it was all shite.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought Otto Wallin was beat. To be quite honest,
Otto Wallin is shite. Tyson
I thought
Fury, he's didn't do very good against Otto Wallin, and he looked awful, didn't
he looked terrible. He looked like a journeyman himself. It looked like 2 journeymen fighting.
he? Do you know, when you look at it, right, Ken? When you look at it, right, you look at Otto Wallin and Tyson struggle with him. Do you think Tyson might be at the end now, because he's just fought Wilder 3 times and he's not active, and there ain't really any names in his record? Is he like just a bigger than life character that's just winging it through? And are we in a piss poor era? Because Otto Wallin struggled with that Sokolowski, but yeah, really, if we want to split hairs with it, that should have been a loss for Fury, shouldn't it?
Yeah. It was the cut was horrendous. I've seen worse cuts.
I've seen less, and it was stopped. Lesser cuts than that, and the fight stopped.
Yeah.
Look at the Irish kid who fought Amir Khan, that Paul McCloskey.
Yeah, brilliant fighter. Paul, absolutely. I've seen Paul fight a load of times. I've seen him spar a load of times in the gym. Absolutely outstanding fighter. Brilliant fighter. One of my favorite. Remember his last fight was against DeMarcus Corey. He's coming at the end there. I remember he beat Bradis Prescott at the Odyssey. That was an amazing fight. Brilliant performance. So yeah, dude, he was a brilliant fighter. Fantastic. But yeah, going back to that, it was at that time, Russell, he just signed that Top Rank deal. So, you know, that there must have been something there, you know, that they knew that fight could not have been stopped. You know, if he would have lost to Otto Wallin in that fight, that Top Rank deal and that whole Wilder thing would have been pie in the sky, to be honest. But you're right, is what you're saying. You know, he's been on WWE, he's been on TV programs, he's had books out, he's on every platform. You know, his family get a lot of exposure now too. So you're right there. He has become more of a star than a boxer the last couple of years.
He's inactive, too inactive for me, Fury, and he's always out of shape. So I don't buy into all that running up street 30 seconds on Instagram saying, yeah, another 10 mile in bank, when you're carrying all that back fat.
Yeah, I agree with you. There. There's camps training there's types of training you'll do, and there's an intensity you'll do in camp, and there's intensity of training you'll do just going to the gym and knocking about with your mates. Suppose, you have went to the gym with your mates, and how many sets have you got done?
You don't get no done. I train alone, mate. You don't get no done if you go with your mates. You stand up talking bollocks.
Yeah.
People,
yeah, and you miss.
Well, what?
You miss routines and you miss exercises to get out. You've been there for 2.5 hours. So yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I don't think there's the intensity in camp, but there's an intensity you train with your mates. I think it's completely different.
Sort of, Jack. Cheers, mate. Hey? Yeah, 2 seconds there.
So there's that type of intensity there. So, and sparring, all that body sparring, and yeah, body sparring is safer for fighters, but it just seems to me it's just a load of mates having a bit of banter and having a bit of crack, which is good for them. It's good they're doing that, but suppose when you're the head of a camp, when you're the boss in camp, you can really dictate what training's going on. I'm just saying there, Russell, that I suppose when you're head of the camp, Russell, and you're the boss and you're paying everyone, you will dictate what happens in training.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, mate. Let me just say this to you: the fighters are in charge. All right. They say who, they say when, they say how much. The buck stops with the fighters. Right. You heard what when Frank Warren had the phone call from Freddie Cunningham. He said, "Yeah, Anthony Joshua wants another 5 million." Frank went, "Okay, I'll get back to you." He rung Tyson, and Tyson went, "Tell them to get to fuck. I'll fight White." That shows you that the fighter is in charge. Do you understand? I don't
Absolutely.
want to hear all this about, well, I've got to do this, got to do that. The fighter's in charge. If Anthony Joshua wanted to fight Usyk, he'd say to Eddie Hearn, make the fight, which he did in October. But since then, he's been filling his nappy. He's had doubts. He's been around that many trainers. He's done his own heading. So he's got confidence issues. Fury said, fuck them, I'll fight White. The fighter's in charge. Fights don't happen because the fighters don't want it. I don't want to hear about all this people in their heroes and all that. These people earning millions. Fighters employ everybody around them. All right. They're the ones that should be, well, most of the time stand up for the sense, but they get influenced. Don't they? Well, I'm advising you to do this because if we go for it down the line, it's a bit better than this. Look, fights just need to happen now. Let's everybody just start fighting. Let's talk more action. It's becoming a fucking joke. We've got fighters doing an evening with so-and-so and personal appearance here, there and everywhere. Get in the fucking ring. Do some fighting. Less talking. That's all I want to see. I was talking to Julian about this the other day. He was looking at Ring Magazine 1982, looking at the 3 best divisions and the top 10 guys plus the champions. So you've got 11 people there in each division, 33 people, and they were all fighting each other, welter, middle, and heavyweight, all the way through. Have we got that now? Have we? Fuck. Look how many good light heavyweights in UK. Not fights happening. What's Callum Smith doing? Why don't they get him in with Callum Johnson? Joe Gallagher used to train Callum Smith. There'd be a bit of beef there. I think Callum Johnson probably knacks him. That'd be a good fight. We a storyline. And what about Callum Johnson Yard? Or Bawatsi Callum Johnson or Bawatsi Yard? You can go on forever. There's loads of round robins. Fights are not happening because fighters now want to be businessmen. They want to stand on the balcony of the fucking houses, get the cock out, and they want to piss on everybody who's underneath, and that's boxing fans. I'll just take another piss on boxing fans and tell them that this other guy don't want to fight me. And then he'll say, I don't want to fight him, and we'll keep it going. But it's becoming a load of bollocks. And statistics prove that people are turning off And we're the last line of defence. We're the last of the Mohicans. If we don't say fuck all, Umar, IFL and Coogan aren't going to, are they? Because they're too busy with the tongues of Eddie and Frank's arseholes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you and Julian. You know, I was looking at my boxing encyclopedia the other night there, and I was looking through at fighters, and I was looking at Mike McCallum's record, and like he fought in Europe, went off in Europe, got robbed, come back, won his title back. You know, his last divisional win was at 38 years old up at light heavyweight. You know, that's a free weight, a legit 3-weight world champion. There's so many other great fighters on the 90s and the 80s that did it. Look at Hagler. I'm sick of kind of going back to that, but I kind of have to. You look at the Four Kings, you look at the weights that they started at and the weights that they finished at. So it was easy to do then. It was easy for Bob Arm and Top Rank to work with Don King. Then it was easy. It was about the fighters fighting the fighters, making a legacy, and the promoters making a fortune, and everybody got something out of it. Now, I agree with you. The fans are switching off. You know, the boxing hardcores are switching off because there's nothing happening. You look at this week. You know, can you imagine 10 years ago Colin Hart interviewing Jake Paul? Or Logan Paul or whatever. I don't even know what he's called.
Colin Hart just interviewed Jake Paul.
No, but I'm saying that the boxing media have accepted these people now.
Fucking hell, I saw Gareth Davis hanging out of the back of him.
Russell, did you see him at the weekend doing air guitar? Did you see him? Did you see him doing?
Mate. Listen,
did you see it?
Gareth Davis. Hang on a minute. Gareth Davis, you are a fucking whopper.
Did you see him do air guitar?
What's that?
Beside Jug Ears. So what happened was, it was before the main event, and I tried to get my friend William to send me it on record, so I couldn't get it. So it was Enzo Macronelli, it was Adam Smith, and it was Macklin. They were talking about the fight, and he's seen that the cameras were on them. So there's like Guns N' Roses playing at the background, and he looks up and he starts doing air guitar, and Jug Ears is sitting there like complete stone face. Then I was like, I could have smashed the TV. I wanted to smash the TV. If I hadn't have been in my own house, I would have actually smashed the TV. I would have, honestly. But come back to those YouTube guys, they're not boxers. The Pauls or Logan or whatever you call them. Woodsy was on yesterday with Eddie Hearn interviewing them in 5 Live. What's going on? Did you see that?
Oh, we're interviewing him.
Woodsy on 5 Live.
Lauren
Talk Sport.
Sorry, yeah. Lauren Woods.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah, only about 6 minutes. There were three 6-minute clips, weren't there, or something like that, 6 or 7 minutes. Seen it, yeah. I've seen it. Look, what it is, Eddie's having to try and do a damage limitation, isn't he, now? That's what his job is at the moment, damage limitation. But I noticed that he spoke about the contracts, and he hasn't seen a contract. And I did like Umar's questions, actually, some of them. Eddie's not seen the contract, but Dylan White's lawyers are. So Eddie's obviously out of the picture, isn't he? Looks like it looks like if he's not seen the contract, Dylan White's seen it. And he's saying, well, I want to help Dylan White if I'm needed. Well, he's saying that about Canelo. That's usually a man who don't want to burn bridges, but he's on the outside looking in. Because Dylan White's now at the promised land. He's got a world title fight for ring belt WBC. And if he wins that, he goes for undisputed in a Megado fight. So maybe he might fight Fury now, but the silence is still deafening, isn't it?
We don't know who Dillian White has aligned himself with this fight. There's all this. Frank Warren just threw them under. I actually love Frank Warren when he's got a bit in his teeth.
Get the papers, George, out the car. Get the papers.
The Rolls Royce is sitting, taking over.
Frank Warren's shoulder roll makes Archie Moore look like a novice. Archie Moore the mongoose.
Frank the mongoose Warren. But yeah, I just love Frank going in on them. I just love it. And he just threw a hand grenade in the whole thing, saying about Ben Shalon and this and that. So we don't know who Eddie is aligned with. So what you're saying there, Russell, is in America, we know Top Rank don't want to work with them. PBC don't want to work with them.
Gary Shaw don't want to work with them. Lou DiBella don't want to work with them.
Lou DiBella definitely doesn't want to work with them.
But they would if the money were right, because these people, right? Yeah. Listen, mate. Listen, boxing's the most two-faced sport in the world. Right? Most two-faced sport in the world. I never want to work with him again. 2 weeks later, they're working with him. Most two-faced sport in the world. People have no pride because money comes before pride. I see it all the time. Oh, I'm never going to work with him again, blah, blah, blah. Fucking month later, best mates.
Yeah.
No pride whatsoever.
Yeah. And you kind of see him aligning himself with Paul to try and get something back in America. You know, they announced that fight, Serrano and Katie Taylor. This fight's happening and all, and they had the big thing. Next day, Bob Arum comes out Top Rank and says, if Shakur Stevens and Oscar Valdez fight, it will be on the same night. It will be on the same night. So it just goes to show you, just goes to show you how he thought of that, they're going to gamble some numbers with personally, I think Valdez and Shakur Stevens does better than Taylor Serrano. I actually pretty sure I know it does. Russell, what did you think of the GOAT on Saturday night?
I think she can't punch.
Yeah, I think she's not the GOAT. I think she is a GOAT, to be quite honest. I couldn't believe what I was watching, to be quite honest. They're trying to build this fight up, as a pay-per-view fight. It's not a pay-per-view fight now, Russell. She stunk the place out. Nobody's going to pay to watch Carissa Shields after that fight.
No, I agree. Lad. I agree wholeheartedly.
They bombed it, I'll say she's saying she's knocking out men in training in the gym. Who's she knocking out? She couldn't knock out that novice in that fight. That girl, Kaizen, was complete novice, complete mismatch. I couldn't believe how poor the GOAT was. I was really, really disappointed. That's another. Yeah, I was really disappointed in her. I don't see the fighter that she's been making out. All fighters will make out that they're the best, but I was really disappointed in her performance. I don't see anything in her that troubles Savannah.
No. Just take this jacket off and get warm in here now. Savannah will just punch her upside down. She'll keep it long. I mean, it's a big 6-footer with long arms, Savannah. She'll just keep it long and she beats her easily. I mean, that girl that they put Clarissa Shields in with, they put her in with her to make her look good, and she didn't really look that good, really. She couldn't get her out there. So that's how I look at it anyway. But
yeah, I agree with you. Savannah even looks more of an athlete on her. She looks more athletic, you look at Savannah and you look at her, or even her back. She's like a swimmer. She's built like a swimmer. She's a pure athlete. I think Savannah will smash her to pieces. But I think after that performance from Shields, it's devalued it. I don't think they'll be able to sell that in box office, and I feel sorry for Savannah on that. You know, Savannah's been selling the fight by knocking people out. Shields hasn't after that performance. It was absolutely terrible.
Okay. What do you think of Amir Khan against Kell Brook week this Saturday, Ken? What do you think to that?
To be quite honest, Russell, I'll probably buy it in pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I'll probably buy it, to be honest. Would you buy it?
Yeah, I'll probably buy it, yeah, for nostalgia. But it's the 5 year past the best, aren't they?
Yeah, they're way past their best. Both of them are probably, 10 years past your best. You know, you talked about their Paul McCluskey and Amir Khan. That was over 10 years ago, Russell.
Did you know
10 years ago.
Did you know it's 11 years since Amir Khan last won a world title fight?
Who would that have been against? Zab Judah?
Zeb Judah.
That's mad. That's insane. Like, you would think like it was near yesterday. You know, it's time has really went there. But yeah, I'll watch it, because if you don't watch it, you're going to be sitting there thinking about what's happening in the fight, what's happening. And to be quite honest, I would rather pay £20 to watch it than put 5 Live on and listen to Gareth A. Davis. No, I don't.
Well,
I don't want to listen to him at all. So I would just pay the £20 and watch it. But I think Amir will stop him.
yeah.
I think Amir will stop him. Yeah, I watched your video the other day there, and you're saying that, you know, it seems to be now that Kell Brook, you know, this whole, whoever this guy is, and they said that, yeah, he's done it at welterweight, so we're going to bring him up. We're going to bring him up. Then they brought him down for Earl Spence. Then they brought him down again. Then they brought him down again after that. So, yeah, I can't see how he's going to be able. I seen a video of him the other night there in Sky, Russell, and his neck was like a pencil. You see it?
Well, as long as your neck can.
No, I'm the goat for the long necks, swan neck.
Kell Brook, right? Let me tell you this: Kell Brook and people around Kell Brook and people who've known Kell Brook since you were a kid, they're going to pat him on the back and wish him all the best. But let me tell you this: the same people are running around Sheffield saying he's shot to bits. So that's how two-faced boxing is. They're people from his own gym he's known all his life.
I suppose it's a cash grab for everyone. You know, it's going to be, the coaches are going to get something from it. The fighter's going to get something from it. Nowhere near what they could have got 10 years ago. Kell Brook's stepdad will get something from it as well. Everyone's getting something from this here.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Okay, then. If Dylan White does not fight Tyson Fury next in his next fight, and if Fury don't fight him next in his next fight, where do we go? Where do them two go then? Where do they go?
My opinion is, I think the fight will not happen, and I think Tyson Fury will fight Joe Joyce. That's what's going to happen. And if Dillian White pulls out of this fight, what money is Sky going to give Dillian White, Russell?
Yeah, well, he ain't got no. He don't bring no to the table. He's not a world champion. He'll lose his WBC #1 ranking, whatever it is, mandatory, or if he ain't mandatory. It's all shrouded in mystery, isn't it? Where does he go if his arse falls out and he feels his nappy? Where does White go?
Where is he going to get that money, Russell? No, that money that he's been offered for this fight. Where is he going to get?
It's another Jarrell Miller job, isn't it? It's going to be a guy who lost the lottery ticket, isn't
he? Yeah, he's coming back, actually.
Well, fucking hell, you shouldn't be allowed nowhere near boxing.
He's coming back. He signed.
Cheating bastard.
He will be back within the next 6 months, I guarantee it. Okay. But yeah, Russell, there's who else in that division? No one's fighting each other.
Okay,
There's
Ken,
no
I'll ask you something else here, right? I'll ask you something else. If Anthony Joshua doesn't fight Usyk next in his next fight, where does he go as well? Because we've been fed this Anthony Joshua, roadman killer, savior of boxing for 10 years now. And really, everything we've been saying for 10 years, we've all been right. The silence from all the Anthony Joshua fans, but is Anthony Joshua going to be bothered when he's over the hill and far away with hundreds of millions? I feel that it's been the biggest fraud committed. It's the biggest robbery since the Great Train Robbery, isn't it?
probably the Brinks Mat robbery.
Or that 53 million Lee Murray one in you know what I mean, that a few years ago, 15 years ago or whatever. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth because when I'm bored, I just put heavyweight fights on from the 70s, Ron Lyle, you know, against George Foreman, and Big George against Ali, Fraser Ali, and Ken Norton, and Larry Holmes, and all them. I like to put all that, Ernie Shavers, Jerry Cooney, and 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And I watch all that, and then I look at this shower of shit today. Shower of shit. Is it the boxers, or is it the people around them, or do fighters just want to be businessmen?
It's everyone's got something to blame there. You know, you spoke there and you mentioned the heavyweights. My favorite heavyweight of all time was George Foreman.
Yeah.
And you look at his comeback run, and I know he fought a lot of tomato cans at the start, but look who he ended up getting with. He fought a peak of Evander Holyfield, probably one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen.
He used to spar Sonny Liston, didn't he, George Foreman?
He did, and he said he was the baddest man. He says that he was too nice when he turned pro, and he said he had to adapt a persona, and the persona that he adopted was the Sonny Liston persona. That's what he said.
He said Liston used to punch owls in him in sparring. He said he used to punch me upside down.
He said he was the real baddest man on the planet. And Mike Tyson actually made reference to that as well. He said Sonny Liston made him look like a choir boy. He was just such a badass. But yeah, you're right, Russell. It just seems to be now everybody's just really greedy. You know, it's money, 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 money. You know, I'm going to ask you a question. When was the last time boxing gave back to the fans?
Well, they gave back at weekend, didn't they, with Eubank not being on pay-per-view. That's what they're saying.
But you know, Liam Williams come off a loss in his last fight. He hadn't won a world title, right? Eubank hasn't won a world title. Well, he's an IBO world title. How could that be pay-per-view?
I don't know. I want to see a domestic dust-up, like a Ryan Rhodes, Jamie Moore, or a Jamie Moore Macklin, or a Frotch against Tony Dodson. I want to see a domestic fight that I'm interested in. There's enough domestic fights for us to not be dealing with these promoters abroad and that. Let's get these domestic fights on. Let's clean boxing up in our own country. Let's get Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren working together and everybody getting on. And then there's tournaments to be had in, like heavyweight, welterweight, middleweight. There's some great fights, you know. They don't just have to have world title belts at the end of them. They can get behind them and build these kids up. Domestic. There's enough domestic fighters for us to have great fights. And instead of going on BoxRec and going and then looking and feeling negative about it. For instance, Dennis's show at weekend. It's shocking. Nobody's got a winning record. Look at Josh Wales' show this month. Nobody's got a winning record on opponents on his. Some of them have not even had a win on home side and double figures for losses. The pool is not there to choose from. Why, I don't know. Well, people need to start working with everybody, because otherwise they're just serving up pish, and it's quite upsetting. And these people who are putting these shows on, they know as well, but what can they do? They're making best of a bad job. So I kind of feel for them. I feel for Dennis. I feel for Josh Whale. I'm looking at Steffi Bull's putting a show on in a couple of months, and it ain't that spectacular either. There's no to choose from at the smalls all end. These people have got to be built up. It can't just be about going on Twitter and being a bit controversial. There's got to be something in the ring. There's some excitement. There's got to be. I don't like to keep harping back to this, but I went to a Lewis Ritson fight and air stood up on you, because something was going to happen when he was running through domestic. Same with Carl Froch. The anticipation when Carl Froch used to come out at Nottingham, were like, you could feel it, mate. I don't see that now. I don't even know if I want to go to another show until it changes. This is how I feel. It's how I feel about it at the moment. And it's quite upsetting. But, is it a society problem? I don't know. I don't know if is it a social media problem? I don't know. But what I do know is we're being served up pish and the product's watered down. There's that many people getting passed now for medical. I mean, I told Max to his face in an interview over there. It's on members if you look. Max is a pro now, isn't he, Max, right?
Yeah.
He knows he's not going to get a pro license in UK because we've heard back off people at board. People who know people at board, they're not going to give him one. So we've been and got a pro card from Lithuania. Fair enough. Got a pro card. It's cost him 300 quid with his medical in UK and what he's good then. It's 100 quid. 100 quid to turn pro in Lithuania and 200 quid for medical in UK. So 300 quid and you're a pro. Max can't run 2 miles. He'll tell you, he can't run 2 miles. Unfit. He's a pro boxer now. That's everything that's wrong with pro boxing. Is he going to win a British title? No, but he's hoping for an area belt. He ain't got a prayer. And people can say, oh, you're being harsh to him. I'm not. I'm a fucking realist. I don't listen to bullshit. I listen to it up in jail. And I listen to enough bullshit out here with people saying they're going to do this and going to do that. We're living in an era now full of shit chatters. People make promises they can't keep. Shit chatters. People look out for themselves. But Max is having a go, so I give him credit. But touch wood, I hope he don't get knocked about, because if he goes in with wrong person, he'll get knocked about. He needs to stay fighting them Estonia guys, doesn't he? People like that. Because if he fights a kid probably 7 or 8 and 0, he'll get put into orbit, won't he, and get hurt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where boxing's heading now. And I mean, I'm not going to say how many because it ain't nothing to do with me. But look at Dennis has given nearly 40 debuts out in a year. But how many of them are from white collar? Dennis knows. He knows how many's from white collar. And how many did Dennis have in his stable that were already from white collar? I know. Is that where we're at now? From the basically, it's people who can't fight. People like Perry Howe, he can't fight for Toffee. He's a 3 and 1 guy. He gets my respect for getting in there, but he can't fight. He could fight me, yeah. I'm not a fighter, but he can't fight. He's going to get hurt. He'll get hurt him. He should be in with somebody like Max at heavyweight, him and Max. That should happen. But
Russell,
hang on a minute. And then I look at what the fuck happened there? Come on, you talk. What the fuck happened there? I'll press the wrong button.
You broke the chair. Yeah, I like your analogy, Russell. It is, you're so correct. So what you have said there, and basically, there's so much white collar happening now. I'm not a fan of it personally. Yes, I love.
So do you mean white collar shows or white collar boxers slipping into boxing?
Yeah. So what I'll say is I love how people raise money for charity. I'm not knocking that. I think it's amazing. I love that. I admire it. I think it's so good that people are doing that. But there's so many white collar shows now, and what that takes away from from the boxing clubs. You know, so there's not as many people coming in to a boxing club and saying, you know what, I maybe want a skills bout, or I want an exhibition, or I want to maybe do the novices. Where now they're probably saying, well, nah, I'm just going to go and do white collar instead. So it has a knock-on effect in the amateurs. There's not enough amateurs coming through the gym doors. Now you build them up there, and if they're good enough to go pro or good enough to turn pro and not get hurt, they can do that. Now they're just going straight into white collar and turning pro. And therefore, as you say, all those lads coming through aren't ready. You take a lot of them white collar lads that have turned pro. Would any of them win an ABA title or even get to a semi-final?
No, they won't.
Or
They won't.
even good enough to fight an ABA?
No, they won't. But if they do a few tickets, like Max can do 200 tickets, right? So he's going to get offers to fight in UK, isn't he? But he's going to have to be very careful who his match, because he's going to end up getting flogged. And he's a nice kid, Max. I like him. I've got a soft spot for him. But he's not sharp as tool in box.
It's heavyweight boxing. It's not like he's a featherweight or a super bantamweight or any boxer can get hurt in the ring at any weight division. But when it's heavyweight and you've got somebody from 17 stone upwards, it's
17.
a lot of punishment.
Max is a 20 clem. 20 clem, 6'4".
He's big. He's a big lump. He's a rugby player and all, and that there. He's a big guy, but you've got somebody from 17 stone upwards to 20 stone hitting you hard, who's experienced. It's hard, and boxing's kind of suffered. The last lot of years, there's not as much people, even in the amateur system, are coming into the gyms, and it's had that knock-on effect, Russell.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, we'll finish off on this then. Billy Joe Saunders has done an interview with Umar, IFL Umar, the latest matchmaker without a license. And Billy said he'll fight Eubank for 5 million. Billy's got no belt. He's as big as a snowman, if you see him. He's like that. That's why he did interview on telephone, because he didn't do it on Zoom. He got a big old fat neck on him. Fat as a pig, Michelin man. But he's probably still got enough skill to beat Eubank again. He has. Beat him first time, and he'll probably beat him again. Is this where boxing's heading now, where Billy's been sat in Curry House for the last 9 months, making a pig of himself and doing whatever he's been doing? Can Billy get back into contention at elite level, or is he just coming back for gimmick fights and money?
Eubank is an elite level. I don't think Eubank's an elite level.
I never fucking said he were. I didn't say he were. I said, is he coming back for gimmick fights, meaning Eubank, or elite fights?
He could come back for the gimmick fights.
Well, why don't he call out Caleb Plant or David Benavides or Charlo? He's coming back for Eubank because he knows that the public might buy into that.
There's money there, and I seen a thing the other night there on Sky Sports. They put a thing out for Eubank, who's next, and I actually think the winner of Amir Khan and Kell Brook will fight Eubank next. Yeah. Yep, and they know Russell. You're right in what you said. There's elite level and there's gimmick level. Eubank now is at that gimmick level, and Sky will flog that. Sky aren't gonna go and invest money to bring Caleb Plant over, bring a Triple G, bring a Charlo brother over for you. He is not gonna come and it won't draw in UK. It won't draw. Nobody, that'll not draw a dime, but Billy Joe knows that if that goes on box office, it will get. But it's all right saying it. It's getting in shape to do it, Russell. It's getting in shape to do it. That's going to take him. That's going to take him 6 to 10 months to get even in shape to fight.
Well, I personally think it'd be 3 months to knock the weight off, then another 3-month camp. That's 6 months. So you're probably looking about September if he's going to come back, aren't you?
Yeah, and a trainer situation, getting in a camp, getting that discipline, it's going to be really hard, and I can't see how he's going to get to be honest with you, Russell, I can't see how Sky will pay Billy Joe 5 million to fight Eubank.
Do you feel, Ken, that with Billy Joe, we've kind of like, be like Frankie Gavin, we've kind of like had two talents there that the skill levels off at charts, and we haven't really seen best of them.
Yeah, I agree. You look at Billy Joe as a schoolboy amateur, right the whole way up through the system. He was
won everything, didn't he? He was favourite to win a gold medal, wasn't he?
Everything, absolutely everything. And he was probably one of the best amateurs the last 20 years coming out of the UK. He was and the golden child, suppose, you know, and it's just been one of those careers that he has made a lot of money, but you know, it's about legacy. You know, a lot of fighters say, give me the money or give me the legacy. I suppose you would always say, give me the money, but you're absolutely right there. He had that good period with Frank Warren, and I think the worst thing he did, Russell, I don't think Eddie Hearn was strong enough to manage him, but keep him under wraps.
I remember reading and somebody was saying they were at this tournament, some international tournament, and there were Frankie Gavin there and Lomachenko, and they were doing the bits of training, and the general buzz were that these two were going to be the next massive thing in the sport. And it didn't work out for Frankie, did it? And obviously it did for Lomachenko, but it looks like he's a bit ill now and gone, doesn't it? But that's boxing, isn't it? Okay then, Ken. Well, listen, it's been great to have you on. Hope you're well.
Russell, can I ask you something?
You can ask me anything you want.
What on earth is going on with the MC at Sky Boxing? Is he a robot?
With who?
Is he a robot?
Oh.
The ring announcer in Sky?
Oh, what's his name? Oh, is it? I don't know.
Don't even know his name.
I don't know. Is he English?
He's English, yeah.
Well, that's good then, isn't it? Well, that's good then, isn't it? Because why do they keep bringing these foreigners over and giving them money? No offence, but let's keep the English MC in work. Well, but why not? Well, why not? Do our English lads go over there and start announcing fights?
I agree with you.
Yeah, well,
I agree with you.
No, love it. I don't know, and I don't fucking care. But if he's English, good luck to him. But so, all right then, mate. Listen, you take care. Okay. Ken. Peace out.
Take care.
Bye. Well, that was Kent, aka Longneck. Nice to have him on. He's a good kid, Ken. He's a good laugh. And if anybody's offended by anything we've said on here, email me, porkycorner@mail.com. We'll have a bit of back and forward. And if you're brave enough, you can come on Zoom instead of hiding behind your fucking keyboard. Go on, peace out.